There's 4 main reasons you're not getting stronger even though you're working out. I mean, you're lifting weights, you're breaking a sweat, you're even getting sore the next day, but your strength really isn't improving. If that sounds like you, chances are you're making one, if not all 4 of these mistakes. So stick around to find out what they are and what to do about them. All right, welcome to the Digital Barbell Podcast. My name is Jonathan. My wife Blakely and I own Digital Barbell. Our goal is to help you get stronger, get fitter, and look like you work out without wasting time on things that you don't need to do, getting hurt, or getting bored to tears in the process. Speaking of looking like you work out, we created a 10-day free email course that addresses the top 10 reasons you're working out but you don't look like it, and of course, what to do instead. If that sounds interesting to you, just head to the description below or go to digitalbarbell.com/look-like-you-lift and get started today. All right, before we tackle these top 4 strength gaining mistakes, let's get something straight. How do you get stronger? Strength is not just about making your muscles bigger. It really comes down to 2 different things. Number 1 is your muscle fibers adapting to stress. This is called hypertrophy, and this is the part where your muscles get bigger. The second part is central nervous system adaptation. This is your body's ability to be able to get more efficient at recruiting muscle to help you build strength over time. You can think of your muscle fibers as factory workers that are available to come help on the job. And when you first start lifting weights, you're not able to recruit a lot of those workers. But as you continue to train over time, your central nervous system is able to recruit more of those workers to help out with the job. And the ones that are already there doing work become more efficient at their job. That's why when you're a beginner, you can get stronger without your muscles really getting bigger because you're just becoming more efficient at using the workers who are already showing up. All right, now that we understand what causes us to get stronger, let's talk about these 4 mistakes that either cause you to hit a plateau with your strength or just prevent you from getting stronger in the first place. All right, mistake number 1 is you're just exercising, you're not training. A lot of people think that they're lifting weights, but they're really just exercising, and there's a difference, so let me explain. Exercise is random. It's just something that gets your heart rate up. It may burn some calories and make you sweat, but training has a purpose. It systematically improves your strength and builds muscle over time. So how do you know if you're exercising or training? I'm so glad you asked. What I want you to do is ask yourself these questions. Are you going to a group class that has you do something completely different every single time? Are you going into a gym with a clear plan to follow, or are you just picking random exercises that sound good that day? Are you using the same weights and doing the same number of reps that you were 6 months ago, or have you been steadily making progress? Are you more focused on feeling the burn or just breaking a sweat, or are you strategically making measurable progress towards strength goals? If you're really just going through the motions, or you're hopping from machine to machine, or treating every workout like a grab bag of random exercises, that's a good sign that you're exercising and not training. And if that's the case, that is a huge reason why you're not seeing measurable progress in your strength and noticeable changes in your physique. Another important point is that cardio and resistance training, they're not the same thing. Running on a treadmill will definitely make you better at running, but lifting weights will progressively make you stronger. And if you really do want real results, you need to have some structure to your program. Following a plan that includes progressive overload, don't worry, we'll talk about that in just a second, is what separates training from just exercising. And with that being said, let's move on to mistake number 2. You're not tracking your workouts to ensure progressive overload. Have you ever felt like you're just doing the same workout over and over again with the same weights and you're never really getting stronger? Well, that's because your body adapts to what you do to it repeatedly. To force your body to continue to get stronger, you've got to use progressive overload. The principle of gradually increasing the weight, the reps, and the difficulty slowly over time. Imagine trying to learn to play the guitar. You pick it up, you practice the first time for 5 minutes, and your fingertips are completely raw. You take a couple days off, and the next time you practice, you've got some light calluses built up on your fingers, and you could play for 10 minutes before your fingers get sore. That's progressive overload. It's forcing your body to adapt to new challenges. There's 2 main ways that we use progressive overload in our training program, so let's talk about what they are. The first one is linear progression. This is a really simple way to make progress, and it's great for beginners. Really, all you do is add weight every single time you do an exercise. So for example, if you did 3 sets of 5 bench press at 135 last week, this week you'll do 3 sets of 5 at 140 pounds. The other main way that we use progressive overload in our program is called double progression. This is where you work within a given rep range for an exercise, and you don't increase the weight until you can do the maximum number of reps within that range. So let's say on bench press, if you're trying to work between an 8 and 12 rep range, when you can finally do all your sets at 12 reps, now we'll add 5 pounds and we'll expect our reps to drop back down to the lower end of the range. And once you can do that weight for the top end of the rep range, you'll add more weight and drop back down again. The key with either one of these methods and progressive overload in general is you have to track your workouts or you don't know if you're getting stronger. All right, moving on to strength mistake number 3, having too much variety in your program. Variety is great when you're scrolling through Netflix or headed to a buffet, but not for strength training. I get it though, trying new exercises is definitely fun. But the thing is, if you're constantly just doing new things, all you're really doing is practicing. You're never getting better at them. And if you never get better at an exercise, you can never add more weight to it. And if you can never add more weight to it, you can never get stronger. The truth is that repetition of certain exercises are key to making real progress with your strength. Your central nervous system needs to practice certain movements to be able to get better at them. And if you're always switching things up, you're always just going to stay in the beginner phase. With our training philosophy, we recommend sticking with the basic compound lifts like bench press, squat, deadlift, and rows as the framework of our strength training, and our goal is to progress those over time. We definitely include plenty of accessory exercises like curls and tricep extensions, but real strength is built by repeating the basics. Speaking of accessory exercises, if you want to see what my wife and I's top 10 favorite current accessory exercises are, we covered that on a podcast a couple weeks ago, so I'll put a link to that below. All right, let's move on to strength mistake number 4, and this one is super common. You're not training enough. If you're new to lifting weights, especially following a structured program, you're in what's called your newbie gain phase. Your body is primed to build rapid strength, rapid muscle, if you train enough. During my own newbie gain phase back in 2013, I was able to add 400 pounds combined to my bench press, my squat, my deadlift, and my overhead press in just 3 months. Lifting weights once or twice per week is better than doing nothing, but if you really want to capitalize on strength gain, especially during your newbie gains phase, 3 to 4 solid strength training workouts per week is the sweet spot. This gives your body plenty of stimulus to continue to get stronger and grow without burning you out and giving you plenty of time for recovery. Think if you were trying to learn how to speak Spanish and you only practice once per week. Yeah, you would get good at the easy stuff like hello and goodbye. You wouldn't forget those, but it wouldn't be until you started practicing 3 or 4 days per week that you would eventually become fluent. Well, gaining strength works exactly the same way. Now that you know what not to do with these common mistakes, you can start doing the opposite. You can adjust your training, or you can start training if you've just been exercising and start making real progress. Don't just put in the work. I want you to train smart. I want you to track your progress, and I want you to stay consistent for the long term. All right, if you found this episode helpful, make sure you subscribe before you go. Share it with a friend that's trying to make some strength progress. And if you want to remove all the guesswork from having to figure out this stuff on your own, that's what we do here at Digital Barbell. I'll put a link to our training program options in the description below. Have a great day.